I have done a lot of celebrations, a lot of ceremonies. I'm actually doing one on the 11th of May for the mothers and their kids. On the 12th of June, I'm doing a dinner under the airplane, a sit-down dinner, very formal, with the president of Cyprus and the prime minister of Greece.
Welcome to a new episode of Most Memorable Journeys. I have a dream guest today because it's somebody that I have been wanting to speak for a very, very long time. He's a very, very busy man, and I'm grateful that he's spending a little time with me. He is the president and chairman of Zela Aviation Group, Zela Jet. He is man all over the place with offices in London, Athens, and Limassol, but he is also an old friend. Welcome to Most Memorable Journeys, Andreas Christodoulides.
Thank you very much for the invitation. I appreciate it. It's nice to see you as well after so many years. And I don't know if I'm the right person or not, but basically, I don't know anything else. I don't know anything else in my life. I just love aviation. So
no, I know you do, and I want to interrupt you here because I want to remind you of something. Many years ago, your mother, Bathulla, invited me for a Christmas dinner when I was alone in Limassol. I was very young, and you were even younger. And I remember...
The first years you came, correct?
Sorry?
The first years you came, I think I remember that.
Yes, and you were fascinated by what I do because I was a tour guide, and you were fascinated by you wanted to travel, you wanted to know about planes, and you wanted to know about flying. And I thought, this man is going to go a long way. And here you are, I don't know, what is it, 40 years later? We are still here, and you have been doing very, very well.
40 or 42. Oh my God, we're too old.
No, we're not. We're great. We're great. So tell me, Andreas.
I have a wife, but also my lover is the airplane. This is how I consider it. I don't like football. I don't like anything else in my life. Aviation is in my blood. This is my therapy. This is my... I wish I could sleep in the evening with an aircraft.
A bit big. It's a bit of a big companion.
I don't know if it sounds too OTT, but I've dreamed this aeroplane. As I have grown up, I started to like it more. I remember myself going to Larnaca on a Sundays with my mother and just watch the aeroplanes. Basically, I have developed this love all over the years with the aircrafts, which obviously I wanted to study to be a pilot. For one thing or another, my father and my mother never allowed me. They said, is that a job? Is that a job to keep a family? Something might happen, X, Y, Z. Obviously, at the end of the day, all the times, all the generations, all the brains, and I have my love with my aircrafts was, I'm sorry, 1 minute, touch that. Right, my love with the aircraft was still growing, but I had to listen to my friends that my parents didn't allow me to become a pilot. I remember myself 10, 11 years old, writing letters, which why I remember it, I found them the other days, to a lot of airlines, asking them for stickers, asking them about a lot of their leaflets to keep it into my portfolio. I have grown and I have left Cyprus when I was 19 and a half. I went to London to study. Which obviously I did business studies and nothing to do with aviation, but aviation never went out of me. Never. I didn't know what to do. I really didn't know what to do. And whatever I used to try to do, it never satisfied me. I remember myself at Luton. I remember myself at Heathrow, Saturday, Sunday. I remember myself booking an airport view hotel at Heathrow so I can hear the airplanes. As I have developed, I have met my wife, Zela. My wife, Zela, born and brought up in the UK. This is where I call the companies after my wife, which is a very, very Greek name, called from Venizelos, which Venizelos was one of the prime ministers in Greece. Basically, I met her and I was supposed to go back to Cyprus. And obviously, I wanted to continue my relationship. I'm sorry to go to a bit of a private, but I wanted to stay. I had no work permit. So I found the right job. I found something tailor-made to myself. I was desperate to get a work permit to stay with my wife. And who gave me the work permit? The Cyprus High Commission, which part of it was the Cyprus Tourism Organization. I stayed there, not for the work permit. I got the right job, promoting Cyprus, which obviously is my country, which I love. But where did they put me? Developing the United Kingdom and Ireland from all the airports for flights to Cyprus. So this is all. I go into business, I go into tourism, I go meeting airlines, meeting airports, and this is where those days myself introducing flights from Humberside to Larnaca, from Aberdeen to Larnaca, from Dublin to Larnaca, which in those days in the 90s, it was something pioneered because Cyprus was a non-EU country. So this is how I began. But my brain never stopped working. At the end of the day, I got the British passport, which I don't use it anymore. It's after the Brexit, but I got it. And I had the opportunity to leave the Cyprus Tourism Organization, but I didn't. I used to love the job. I had the best. It was a university for me. I got a lot of contacts with airlines, airports. And then, obviously, I had a dream. I had a dream. I wanted to have an airline. Financially, who helped me? The grandfather of my wife. So I've started working with an airline in Greece, setting up an airline. It was very, very difficult times for Greece because it was Olympic Airways, the government-owned airline. I started working on a project called an airline called TA Hellas, trying to enter the Greek market. On the other aspect, at the same time, I was still working at the Cyprus Tourism Organization. And obviously, the project, good or bad, took me 3 years. The project, unfortunately, and I'm not going to criticize Greece or the bureaucracy, but it was a lot of protection with Olympic Airlines those days. So the TA Hellas, Trans-European Airways Hellas, which was supposed to be flying from Athens, Chania, Rhodos, Thessaloniki, never took off. Then I moved to Cyprus. I've set up my own airline there, which it was a success, which obviously it has brought tourism into Cyprus. It has given lower fares to the market. I consider myself again a pioneer. It was the first private airline in Cyprus, which obviously, I'm sure you all know it had a very bad tragic event, which I sold it before the tragic event. Why I sold it? Well, I was living in London and I used to commute a lot. And my wife said, enough is enough. So I sold it. And where would I I got the money? One day I went to my grandfather's wife and I told him, I want to do this. He gave me the money to start. So I owe a lot to him. Obviously, I went out of aviation after the airline. Why? I wanted to relax. I wanted to have, and I went to Bulgaria, setting up and building up hotels. Well, as you know, as a tour guide, you know very well, it's either clients or tour operators. So I used to go to the tour operators with all my contacts, and I said, this is the hotel, this is Bulgaria, an emerging market. And the tour operator said, I'm sorry, Andreas, we cannot close deals with you. I said, why? you don't give us that inspiration, closing rooms with you. We want to close flights. So I started, me and a mobile being broker, closing flights for the tour operators. Then somebody said to me, you need to take your role seriously. Why don't you build up a company, an aviation consulting company, XYZ? And this is how I started again. It gave me a lot of passion, a lot of encouragement, because from the other part of from the respect of you is, after the tragic event, I was a bit down, and it's understandable, although I wasn't the owner, but it gave me a push. So I started Zela Aviation 19 years ago with an office in Cyprus and in the United Kingdom, where I used to live. I lived there for 38 years. What is Zela Aviation? I started as a solution to tour operators, chartering flights, Greece, Cyprus, Egypt, and Bulgaria. I'm still the biggest aviation office for Bulgaria tour operators. Now, what's happening with my Bulgaria hotels? Gone. I have a very small company which does a bit of tour and handling and everything. I gave up. I gave up. Not because, as a gentleman, which I remember him in TUI Nordic, told me, I cannot see you selling rooms. This is how I felt. So I've started the company Zela Aviation. Zela Aviation is a solution to the tour operators. Then I went to a solution to airlines. Wet leasing, buying aircraft, 737, 300, 400s, leasing them to airlines. So all over the years, I have developed a very professional team. My personal care and Zela Aviation became worldwide. Worldwide, we're traveling to South America, because remember, South America, December, January, July is high season. So I try to do this reverse from Europe to South America. The same applies with Canada. Why Canada? Because they bring a lot of extra aircraft in Canada in the winter to fly to the Caribbean. Not only it has given me a flexibility to open outside Europe, but also a lot to Asia. Asia, I became also very well connected. Is still a country which I brought a lot of consultancy for all the airlines, and I visit Mongolia every 2 months.
Really? Wow.
Yes, an incredible country.
There is many things, Andreas, that I didn't know about you, and I love listening. Keep going. Go on, because this is fascinating.
Mongolia, a very sleeping Asia country. They had a lot of problems with aircrafts, with extra capacity in the winter, because extra capacity winter, it means, do you know what is the temperature in Mongolia?
I can imagine. It's minus what, 50?
Well, minus 30, 40.
It's very cold. So yes. Yes.
They have excess capacity. Do you know where it took down, and you know where this excess capacity went?
Nope.
Dominican Republic.
Clever, very clever. So you're a smart entrepreneur.
Haiti, one of the poorest countries in the world. Maldives, because this gives a utilization of an aircraft 12 months. Look, let's face it, it's not only Mongolia. Greece is seasonal, Cyprus semi-seasonal, Turkey very seasonal. There's a lot of European airline in countries which are seasonal. Mm-hmm. So basically, I've developed Zela Aviation on aircraft leasing. Who are my customers? Tour operators, but mostly airlines.
Yeah.
Obviously, on the other aspect, there are certain individuals. You have 30 millions. You want to open an airline. Sometimes they come, they dream of this. I want to become an airline owner. Obviously, I want to do the consultancy. I want to do the fleet renew, the fleet planning, what aircraft to buy. So I do all this. Now, plus, The other thing I used to do, well, I still do it, but in a different way, airport developments. There's a lot of sleepy airports, which I have developed in Europe, especially in Poland, Latvia, Netherlands, Groningen, which they did a lot of, how can I say, they wanted a company to bring tour operators for scheduled airlines. So basically, when I started Zela Aviation, it's all about aviation. You know, whoever works in Zela Aviation, he must be ill or sick with airplanes. It's therapy. Because on a Saturday evening, we have a group chat. And we all say, have you seen this airplane? My God, blah, blah, blah. Right. Do you know what's my most exciting thing in aviation? If I lease an aircraft, and the aircraft goes with certain colors, and I'll give you an example. When I used to do this consultancy for me at Mongolian Airlines, the national carrier, I took them down to Maldives to fly for Maldives Airlines. We put colors, we change the colors. And the mixed thing I love is a lot of mixed things on the airplane. You know why? The Mongolians, they said, there's no way you're taking out our flag from the winglets or from the nose of the aircraft. So Maldives Airways was flying with the Mongolian flag. This kind of chemistry, sort of mix, it's wow.
That is crazy. Andreas, I want to ask you something. I want to talk about those planes you bought. Those ones.
Okay. Let me tell you the history.
Yes, because that is fascinating. I used to work with, when I was a tour guide in Greece, I used to work with Olympic Airways. And then I saw you buying those planes and I was so happy to see it.
First of all, let me brief the listeners about me. The COVID came and another disaster in aviation. So everybody was flying executive and helicopters. In 2020, I was planning to leave the UK with my family to come and live in Greece. COVID came, disaster, nearly bankrupt. And my son Yannis goes to me, Dad, executives and helicopters are up. Everybody's traveling private. Let's do Zela Jet. A daughter company, not for COVID. We're going to the most beautiful country. We're going to a country with 40 million tourists. We're going to a country which Greece is a winning country every bloody year in tourism. Don't tell me about Spain or Cyprus. Greece is the number one. So I've established Zela Jet. Not so much executives flying from Athens to New York. Dedicated for Greece. Helicopters bought by Zela Jet, flying in the colors of Zela Jet, flying all over Greece. And what I would like to say here, there are a lot of helicopters in Greece. I bought something which I felt more, I am not a cheap company. I felt I bought something which was more applicable for the higher end, 7-seaters and 2 engines. That's why I'm not cheap. I'm okay for a family, but if you want to go with your boyfriend or girlfriend or wife, whatever, on two people on a 7-seater, I'm expensive. But again, there are people who pay it because there are 2 engines. Is the security, they feel the safety and everything. Definitely 80% of the tourism goes out of Mykonos. We get calls even an hour before, get me a helicopter. I want to go to Santorini for the day. So we have regular clients at Zela Jet. I've gone into a different clientele from the businessman, the niche. Now I have billionaires, celebrities.
Yeah, I want to interrupt you. Can you tell me who is the most famous person who flew on Zela Jet?
I don't remember now. I'm sorry, or I cannot tell you. for
No problem.
confidential reasons.
I
But
understand.
I don't follow all the clients. Look, to be fair to you, some of the clients don't come directly to us. And they come through concierge of hotels in
Yeah,
Mykonos or
yeah,
travel agents.
yeah,
Sometimes they send us their name last minute. We
yeah.
don't know if direct or why.
Yeah, yeah,
Now, and another thing which proved the helicopter very, very um, demanding in Greece, Mykonos is fully booked with the airport, always busy. If your listeners, if they're hearing me, even if you fly on Aegean from Athens to Mykonos, there is always an hour delay because of slots of parking.
yeah.
So plus there is a cost of €2,500 every time you land in Mykonos. So what do we do lately with the rich or whatever, well, they're rich. They fly London Mykonos, they fly London Athens. Next to the aircraft, we have Zela jet helicopter straight to their villa in Mykonos.
So they can actually land. Those villas have helipads. They can land there.
Yeah, look. Their helipads, some of them are illegal, I have to say.
Yeah. Okay.
I have warned a lot of the Greek municipalities that this might be another tragic event, like it happened with the train. Before I go to these aircrafts, the airport consultancy after COVID just finished in Europe. When I came to Greece, all the airports in Greece are asking me to be airport consultants. So I've taken over Sitia. It's an isolated airport in Crete.
Mhm.
I've taken over Skiros. So, and it's not the money. I enjoy it. Enjoy that people, isolated islands or islands with not a lot of traffic, they took me to generate traffic. I like it. I do it out of passion for Greece. And let's come to the aircrafts. Olympic Airways closed in 2021. All the Olympic Airways aircrafts were abandoned. They were abandoned in the Athens airport.
In the old airport. In the old airport.
I came to Athens. I said, guys, what are you doing for these aircrafts? So they're going for scrap. I said, you must be joking. I had a huge fight with them. I said, me as a Greek Cypriot, I come to save the Greek heritage of Greece. Anyway, to cut it short, and that was by the Lambda development. I had a friend inside from one of the top has helped me. And instead of going for scrap, I bought all the Olympic Airways fleet, all of it. Basically, I bought the Onassis plane. I bought this history of Greece. In one of my interviews, I said, I think I bought Acropolis.
Wow.
I bought Acropolis because there's a history. One aircraft is cut, been stored. They have persuaded me, which I'm working on this project, to put it as a diving center in either Vouyagmeni, Greece, or in Poros, or one of the Greek islands. Basically, I can send it to you on the WhatsApp. Basically, it's the Olympic heritage as a diving in the blue waters of Greece. And this will be a sort of an attraction worldwide. BBC have approached me, CNN, to do a document. That's for next year. The one aircraft went to Lavrion, which is a port outside Athens. And just to let you know, I didn't donate these aircrafts. There's an agreement for 3 years. And I'm thinking very, very seriously, the one I put down in Lavrio. Lavrio is a port outside Athens. I'm thinking of bringing it to Limassol.
Wow, really? But tell me, how do you transport the plane? How can you, because it doesn't fly.
I cut them.
Oh, wow.
I
You
say,
know, I know that one of your planes that you already restored is a back 111. And my first trip to Cyprus in 1982 was on a Cyprus Airways back 111. We had to
well,
over in
this one, because it hasn't got so much linked. That's the one in Lavrio.
Yeah.
It hasn't got so much link with Greece because it was the only back 111. And it's been a history with Cyprus. That's why I wanted to bring it to Cyprus.
Beautiful.
Although I have offered to the president of Cyprus to take the Trident out of Nicosia Airport, restore it, and put it outside Larnaca Airport. Now, the most stylish, the flagship, is the Boeing 727, okay, which is 1968 production. This aircraft was taken, delivered by Onassis. The coffin of Onassis was carried on this aircraft. You don't watch Greek films, but
I do, Andreas.
No, the old Greek films.
Yes, with Aliki Vouliouklaki and people like that.
All right, there was an actress called Vlachopoulou.
Yes.
And there was a hijack. It's on that particular aircraft which I have. The particular aircraft I have has been a dynamic symbol and tourist attraction for Athens. Even the tour buses have included it. And I have done a lot of celebrations, a lot of ceremonies. I'm actually doing one on the 11th of May for the mothers and their kids. On the 12th of June, I'm doing a dinner under the aeroplane, a sit-down dinner, very formal, with the president of Cyprus and the prime minister of Greece. So,
fantastic.
What will happen inside? Well, inside is empty. I had to throw all the seats that were in a terrible state.
Okay.
I guess some of the business class seats with the ashtrays.
With the ashtrays.
Well, we used to smoke, didn't we?
I know, I remember.
So, unfortunately, everybody's asking, can we visit it? I said, no. They said, why? Because I'm going to make it into a nice, private, plane inside, luxury, with dining room, with TVs, with bars, just for me, my family, and my friends.
Can I get an invitation to one of those places, maybe?
Okay, so I'm trying to show you that I will stay in aviation forever.
Yeah,
in 100 years,
that aviation is in your blood.
In 100 years, people will see Onassis Olympic, the heritage of Greece. I mean, after I bought all this aircraft, my fame, everybody was attacking me. How can I say? Approaching me. One was wanted to send me the Cadillac of Onassis, the other one the tie. I said, I'm not interested. Just love airplanes. So I have proved. You don't understand that people in the street stopped me, and they hugged me, and they said, you're unbelievable. You saved us. You saved this heritage of Greece. I spent a lot of money. I did it out of passion.
Yeah.
There was one Greek gentleman said, you embarrassed us. You embarrassed us. You as a Greek Cypriot, you are more Greek than us. There are people who want to take selfies with me. I'm very proud. I'm very proud for me, for Greece, a country I love. Of course, I am from Cyprus, but I love Greece. And I did it for the nation. So in 100 years, the aircraft will be there. I will give them to my sons, to my grandsons.
Beautiful. And you know what? I am very proud because that young man that I met in 1982 made something out of his life and lived his dream. You're living the aviation dream.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we are coming to the end because it's already been going for quite a while here. I am fascinated, Andreas, by and I'm looking forward to seeing what else you are going to do, because I am sure that you have some crazy plans that you don't even know yourself yet.
I know. I know. There's always a lot of things that I want to do in aviation. That's my passion. I know nothing else in my life. That's my therapy.
That is
Thank you very much for today.
Thank you so much for taking the time, because I know you're busy and I really, really appreciate. Thank you for being
Pleasure.
this memorable journey.
And nice to meet you again. Thank you very much.
If you enjoy my podcast, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. You will find all the information in the show notes.